Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 6 of the Exploring DC podcast, where we take a piece of DC media and explore it. Thank you for coming on this journey with us. I am your host, Josh Dobson, and today we're going to do something pretty interesting, but I have to introduce my two co-hosts first. They're with me today, Jackson and Jalen. How are we doing?
We're doing phenomenal. How are you?
I'm good. As the listeners are about to find out, I am recovering from a case of food poisoning, so I'm like on the mend. But we're here. I have great pitches, way better than these two, so I'm so excited.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Can I cut in real quick? You said that you're recovering from a stomach virus?
Food poisoning.
Food poisoning?
That's the same
but that
thing,
affects
right?
your stomach, right? So on a scale of 1 to 10, how hydrated are you right now?
That's a good question. Yeah, that's a...
Definitely a 6, maybe a 5.
Dude, you need to get that up to a 10. I am hydrated as fuck right now. I pissed like 3 times in the past hour. You got to stay hydrated, Josh, especially when you're dealing with something like food poisoning.
I have half a water.
That's what we like to see.
What
brand of water is that?
Pure Aqua. I got it from Aldi.
All right, it's not Dasani. That's some bullshit.
Yeah, no, Dasani's the worst.
I'm not paying for Dasani. I'm getting the store brand.
I'm really glad to hear you're not paying for that bullshit.
Yeah, if you're getting water, you got to get store brand at the most, like
or Deer Park. Deer Park is really
Deer
good.
Park's solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Dasani,
Dasani is
some other
bullshit.
Aquafina, I don't do it.
Yeah,
it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Guys, we have a great episode. We're doing a concept that no one's ever done in the history of content creation.
Nobody's done it.
It is called Pitch Night, where we are going to pitch our own movies and shows for DC.
These are all going to be terrible.
These are all
going to be great.
Awesome.
And essentially the idea is that they don't have to be essentially in the DCU or outside the DCU. It's just pitches that we are excited about that are DC related. We have 6 categories. I'm going to run through them real quick, and then we're each going to go through the categories one by one. So the categories we're going to go, our order today is animated show, live action show, video game, animated movie, live action movie, and then an event movie or show, which is like something like Crisis on Infinite Earths or Kingdom Come or whatever, Injustice, whatever it be. You can do your own spin on it, however it be. Anyway, who wants to go first? Are we gonna spin a bottle, or
are we gonna go in are we gonna alternate here between are we gonna do movies? All of us are gonna pitch our movie, then all of us are gonna pitch.
I think we're gonna go in an order: 1, 2, 3 for animated show, then 1, 2, 3 for animated movie, and so on and so forth.
So what are we starting with?
Beautiful. We're starting with animated show.
Okay.
Jackson,
I'll go first on this one.
Do we give it to you or Jalen, man? You want to take it?
I'll go first for animated show. Because everybody and their mother, if you've listened to 5 minutes of this, you know what I'm about to say.
Oh, I know what you're about to say.
Everybody knows what I'm about to say.
Oh, my God.
Wonder Woman. I know you're shocked to hear me say that. And my pitch for that show is do an animated series with Wonder Woman and have her do Wonder Woman shit.
Okay. So this is in the DCU.
I don't care. I don't give a shit. I just want a Wonder Woman animated show. Like you can make it My Adventures with Wonder Woman. Oh, I'm so sorry. You can make it in the DCU. I really don't care at this point. I just it is baffling to me that we have not had a Wonder Woman animated show. Batman has 30. Like what the hell are we doing?
I agree. She's the part of DC's Trinity. The fact that she has gotten no representation, but outside of 2 Gal Gadot movies, which honestly did pretty well, which shows that there's interest in the character.
Yeah. I think a Wonder Woman animated series would do really well, and I think if you give it the same love and care that you gave Batman the animated series, you would have a real winner on your hands.
And her villain lineup is so
really good,
cartoonish.
Really good.
I mean, you think about Giganta and Cheetah; those are very animated show characters that would work well.
No, I completely agree. I think that is the. If I were in charge of DC, which I am not, and I never will be, as you'll see with the rest of my pitches, I would never get the job. But if I were, the first thing I'm doing is greenlighting a Wonder Woman animated show. It's baffling to me that hasn't been on Gunn's radar yet. I mean, maybe it is and we just don't know, but they're doing that Paradise Lost show, which could be cool, but it's man, I want Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
I want Wonder Woman.
Content. Yeah, I believe there was supposed to be a show for the DCAU back in the day for a
Really?
Wonder Woman animated show.
And then it didn't happen because
and then it did not happen.
Sexist people? or was it?
I can't
likely.
say that, but
Okay.
maybe they just thought it didn't fit in the
So if we're
story.
doing Wonder Woman, are we doing more modern Wonder Woman are we doing a more classic like a Linda Carter spinning around animated
I
show where it's a
think
little
we need
more leans younger?
I think you need to do kind of somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
I think that you need to embrace a lot of the class because I would argue if you were to criticize that first Patty Jenkins movie, it maybe modernizes Wonder Woman a tad too much, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you guys agree with that, but
it takes place in the past.
It does. No, it does. But I mean, like more. They're throwing her in World War I. Like you kind of lose all that camp and charm. And I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. I want like a show to do for Wonder Woman what this new Superman movie seems to be doing for Superman. If that makes sense.
I like that. Where it's
Because
taking it back to
Patty
the character's
Jenkins'
roots.
Wonder Woman was still within the confines of Zack Snyder's aesthetic choices. And I like to see something just a little more vibrant and colorful. I still like that first Patty Jenkins movie, don't get me wrong, but yeah.
Yeah, I honestly, like you said, I'm obviously a big fan of My Adventures. I would love a Wonder Woman
I'd be so
style
down with
show
that.
for that. That would be great.
My Adventures with Wonder Woman would be awesome.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be very sick.
Any closing thoughts on that pitch? I like it. I think it's good.
Wonder Woman.
No, honestly, I fully agree. Like, we need a Wonder Woman animated show so bad, or just more Wonder Woman content. Because I don't know
Exactly.
why Paradise Lost can't get off the ground or whatever they got going on with that. But I mean, I want more good Wonder Woman stories because she is like one of the big three. She is, her Batman, Superman are the Trinity. So it's like for Superman to be getting this level of love now, for Batman to obviously be getting the amount of glaze that Batman has got for the last 70-something years, I need Wonder Woman to get more attention because her stories are amazing. Like, legitimately, she could have God of War level storytelling if someone would just take that on. But yeah, I really love the idea of a Wonder Woman animated show. Do you want to go next, Josh, or you want me to go next?
No, Jalen, you kick it off, man. I want to hear what you got.
Okay, so this is going to be something that no one is going to see coming.
These are all just words, bro.
Yeah, because this is a team that no one has probably. So some people have heard of it, some people have not heard of it. We know that James Gunn likes to do like very obscure characters, like super duper obscure characters who don't get any amount of love. So for my animated show, I chose these characters called the Challengers of the Unknown.
Oh, that's a poll.
Yeah. Have you heard of them?
The only Challenge is the Unknown. I'm lightly familiar with it, but I remember they had a cameo in the Teen Titans Go movie of all.
Yes.
Yes.
It is the Challengers of the Unknown. How I would make it, it would be set in the DCU. It would be a way to world build. Like, you wouldn't need to have it lead.
So run me through Challengers of the Unknown. Explain it to me, because I imagine many people listening do not know, and I don't know.
So the Challengers of the Unknown are a group of scientists who basically venture to different obscure parts of the DC universe, and they're kind of like ghost hunters a little bit, but they do it with all different types of things, like different realms, different, like for instance, they go to the center of the universe, or that area that was in Aquaman, past the ocean where he found his mom. Do you remember that?
Oh, where the trench were?
Yeah, where the trench were. That area they ventured to a few times. They're just explorers in the DC universe. They have no powers. They're just a group of scientists. But I feel like this would be a cool animated show because I feel like you could really go crazy in the creature designs. You could go crazy in the world, the world building, because they would go to some really insane, crazy places. Like, for instance, I have here in my notes, I would have them venture to Atlantis. I would have them venture to Black Hawk Island. And I would have them venture to the center of the earth and team up with the obscure warrior called Warlord, who appeared in an episode of Justice League Unlimited.
Those are some interesting polls, man. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So I even, and this is the part that I absolutely love. The show would even see them team up with Ray Palmer to venture down into this area called Morladia, where Sword of the Atom takes place, which in the comics is a story where Adam shrunk down and basically was with these Amazonian creatures in this micro universe. It was a weird story from the 80s. But
That sounds like it's from the 80s.
Yeah, it is probably Ray Palmer's most famous storyline, or the Atom's most famous storyline. So, yeah, that is my animated show pitch.
Jackson, how do you feel that show is more likely to happen than the Wonder Woman?
You know what's funny is I was thinking the exact same fucking thing. It's like, if a Wonder Woman animated show and this came across James Gunn's desk, I know which fucking one he's picking.
Yeah. Well, the script's got to be right, and the Wonder Woman script just isn't.
No,
it isn't right.
It's never right.
No, it never is right. That's a great point.
You guys are both starting off really strong. I came in swinging, so I gotta make sure I'm up for it. All right, my animated show. I have titles for all mine that are like TBD titles, so they could change. I read a lot of comics. I read a lot of comics mostly in middle school, and one of the comics I read a lot of was the New 52 Aquaman run, where it's kind of people didn't take Aquaman seriously, and he's struggling with taking care of Atlantis while also being part of the Justice League, and it's all this conflict, and it's trying to make Aquaman a notable hero again, because everyone knows him as like the corny guy from the old cartoons and stuff like that. I want that as a show, so my show is called Aquaman Emergence. Essentially, we're taking Aquaman back to his roots. Simple costume, no beard. We're getting rid of the Jason Momoa isms of the character. And he's going to be dealing with being part of the League and being part of Earth while also being part of Atlantis and ruling that. But Atlantis is also trying to become a nation in the United Nations, similar to how in Black Panther, Wakanda tried to join the world. And I think I wanted a show with a lot of world building, but also something that's not easy to do in live action. And I think with the amount of effects that Atlantis requires and sea creatures and all this fun stuff, you could really dive into Aquaman's lore and expand the character and do something a little different than what James Wan did, but still keep it colorful and fresh. And I think there's just so much potential in that world, and that's what I want.
I like that a lot, especially because I'm sure they don't want to touch Aquaman in the film world for a while, especially with James Wan's movies. You know, obviously being part of the old DCU, I'm sure they don't want to touch Flash or Wonder Woman in film form for a while. But I do feel like having it be an animated show, it would save you some money because you wouldn't have to spend CGI on each episode, you know, to truly make the ocean feel like immersive and more lived in. So I really, really, really like that idea.
Yeah. Even if you want to get into like the Game of Thrones aspects of it, of people vying for the throne and getting Orm in there and Black Manta and a little Aqua Baby and you know, you can even repeat elements of the movies and stuff. But I think there's so much potential with the Aquaman character, and Jason Momoa did interesting things with it, but he also kind of played it as Jason Momoa, not as Aquaman purely. And I want to get back to Aquaman as a character.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like now Aquaman in the comics is more like Jason Momoa because he's such a loud personality, you know. So it is. I do love the Jason Momoa isms that Aquaman has taken on, but taking him back to those roots, especially the New 52 run. That was one of my first New 52 comic books. Was Volume 1 of the Aquaman series. So yeah, great idea.
All right. Those are our animated shows. We have Wonder Woman, Challenges the Unknown, and Aquaman. I'm going to move back to you, Jackson. We're going to do live action show. What you got for me?
This was the one that was hardest for me to do. Okay. I don't know why. I don't even have anything written down. I have an idea, but it's like this is the one that took me the longest to figure out for some reason. And I for the life of me, I can't tell you why. The other ones came to me pretty quick. I think I would do a Dick Grayson live action show.
Yes.
But like,
can it be called just Dick?
I would call it Dick. I would call it The Adventures of Dick.
The Adventures of Dick.
Yeah.
My Adventures with Dick.
My Adventures with Dick. Exactly.
Right.
But I think just a show that chronicles his life, you know, becoming Robin, all the way through becoming Nightwing would be really interesting, and not that kind of fucking super edgy bullshit we got with Titans, like a genuine attempt at capturing the essence of the character, which has literally never been done in live action before. Nobody has like made a serious attempt to adapt that character as he is on the page, you know?
Yeah.
So would this have a lot of focus on his time in the Titans or anything, or would it be mostly focused on him being Robin and then being Nightwing and
I think like
Bloodhaven?
as it goes on, you could definitely kind of work in the Titans and stuff, have the Bat family, but I'd want the focus to be on Dick and kind of have it be his story. Like, obviously, Batman would be a big part of the show, but I would want it to be a show about Dick Grayson.
So he starts as a kid, right?
Yeah.
Robin. Okay.
And that's why I think it would be ideal for live action is you get to watch the actor actually age up.
Yeah.
Assuming they didn't take like 5 fucking years to make a season like some of these streaming shows do,
So this is more of an annual thing, an annual series.
I would make an annual thing on HBO.
That's a tricky cast to cast someone
It
at
is.
13 to play
It
a character to grow up like that.
So what season would you turn him into Nightwing? Like what season would you like?
I mean, you could do it in season 3. You could do it in season 4. It really just depends on how you structure the story.
Yeah.
I like
But
that.
I would also see that as a show that kind of ages with its character and kind of becomes more and more mature as it goes on. You can introduce Jason or Barbara, or what other members of the Bat family you want. And it does kind of bum me out that when we meet Dick in the DCU, he's probably already going to be Nightwing. I would really love to see that progression. I think that would be interesting.
It feels like every time they've tried doing live action Robin, they've tried doing Dick, and it's always gone really weird. They did the one in the 90s with it's not Chris Parnell. I forget what his name is.
Chris O'Donnell.
Chris O'Donnell. Yeah, which is a very weird adaptation. And
Very
they did whatever they were doing in Dark Knight Rises with
Joseph
Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
And they did my
my
Bane, which is the Titans version. Even though I love Brenton Foyts, I think he's a perfectly fine actor. I just think the material,
very good choice, yeah.
the material was really bad.
Fuck Batman.
Having that be like your trailer line, like
Yeah,
the
it's
line you end your debut trailer with is just
Crazy.
Yeah, it sucks because you can see the potential in him. He's not that bad in the show. It's just that the structure of the show is not very good, and then some of the supporting cast is not there. But Dick himself is actually pretty interesting. They just don't give him enough.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
When they let him be jokey in that series, especially like in the season 3 opening when he's like playing.
Yo, you made
with
it to
the
season
goons.
3? That's crazy.
I did make it. I didn't make it to season 4.
I didn't make it past one episode.
Oh my god! No,
I made it to the end.
I did make it to season 3, but even like when they had him being fully jokey, it was like you could see the potential there, but it's just they don't use him right,
Yeah.
But they didn't use like any Robin right, and I just that's my biggest hope for the DCU Brave and the Bold. As much as we talk about it, is I just want to see Robin done right in live action in some capacity, whether that's Damian, whether that's Red Hood, Nightwing. I don't care. I just need something good.
I agree.
Because we've been in the trenches. Jalen, give me a show. Give me a live action show.
I guess since we are on this Robin track, right? We
had the same one.
Yeah. well, technically mine is on
Red Robin.
Yeah, mine is called Red Robin.
Yo, I could go for a Red Robin milkshake. That shit's good as fuck.
I could go for some Red Robin, but my series would be called Red Robin, and it would be about Tim Drake basically coming into his own as his own superhero. It would see him go against Cluemaster, who I feel like is a good threat for Tim, because Tim is a more intellectual, analytical Robin, someone who is most like Bruce. Like he uses his brains, he uses more tech. He's not the best fighter. He's an amazing fighter. He's better than some in the DC universe, but he still would rather use.
Wasn't he
his
raised
smarts.
by ninjas?
He was not raised by ninjas.
He wasn't raised by ninjas?
That's
I don't know
Damian
fuck about
Wayne.
them.
Yeah, that was Damian Wayne. That was
Yo, I
raised
got
by
my
ninjas.
Robins mixed up. My bad. Yeah, Damian, my bad. I was so confused for a second because I was like, what do you mean he's not? Like, he was raised by ninjas.
Like, bro, I was like, wait, was he?
I got my Robins mixed up there. My bad.
Yeah, that's
Damian. Yeah, I know.
that's
I know
Robin
that
number-
too. I don't know what the. I think I just spaced out for a second. My bad. Continue.
But yeah, so it would see him go up against Cluemaster, and it would also a secondary lead for this would be Spoiler, aka yes,
Of course,
Stephanie
Cassandra
Brown, who is one of my favorite characters in the Bat family. And I obviously I've been wanting some more Stephanie Brown, Tim Drake love. Because that was part of my, it was one of my favorite things from the '90s era of Tim Drake storytelling in that Robin comic, and just in other comics that Tim Drake has appeared in. But I do have a whole character list too of who I would want to appear. I would have Red Robin, spoiler, Clue Master, obviously. I would get in an appearance from Batman, maybe like one episode, or just to give him that moment and to establish what that relationship would be.
Okay.
I would have Barbara Gordon appear in here, Alfred. I would have an obscure character called Bluebird, who was actually in the Gotham.
Yeah, Harper Row.
Yeah, he was actually in the Gotham Knights show. Which did you watch that? I'm sure you did. You are.
Yeah, they had every side Batman character. They had Spoiler in there. They had Bluebird. They had a lot. They had Carrie Kelly in there. You know. Yeah, they had Cassandra. She wasn't Spoiler, but she was in the show.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never watched it because I didn't.
Because it looked bad?
Yeah, it looked terrible.
Right.
That Batman
they had a lot of cool characters in it.
Every time I see it.
Yeah. I would.
But yeah, that's a cool cast list. So are you thinking older for Red Robin or?
I'm thinking more like 20, 22, 23.
Okay.
Somewhere
I like
around
that.
there.
All right. So two Robin shows. I like that. I if I'm thinking which one James Gunn's picking up, that's tough. I don't know. I think he's gonna stick with Dick Grayson because he likes the idea of Nightwing, but also Tim Drake is a very viable. I don't know how commercial Tim Drake is yet to people compared to Dick Grayson.
I don't think that he's super, marketable, but I feel like knowing James Gunn and knowing how people trust in him with some of these more lesser known, lesser established, lesser appreciated characters in DC, I feel like we could definitely get to a point, or he could definitely market this show to a point where it's like people are like, okay, I really, really, really want to come and see Tim Drake, kick some ass.
Yeah. Right. I like that a lot. Live action show for me, again, with shows I was thinking, what do I want developed over a long time? What is going to need a lot of material to flesh out? And then I got to thinking, what have I always been teased with in TV? Because I am the DC TV guy, but I've never got a proper adaptation. And that is the Hawks. We are getting Hawkgirl in Superman, played by Isabella Merced, which I'm very excited about. And so far, the Hawks on TV have been a very poor... It was a very bland adaptation on Legends of Tomorrow, where they did the star-crossed lovers thing with Kendra and Carter and threw Vandal Savage in. But the problem was they weren't focused enough where it just distracted from the tone of what Legends tried to be. And then at the end of Krypton, if you guys remember the Superman prequel show that didn't actually have Superman in it, they were teasing Thanagar, which is the other adaptation of Hawk people, that they're aliens from this own planet, they have the nth metal and all this stuff. My idea is I want that star-crossed lovers thing. I want Carter and Kendra and traveling through time and them, like, it kind of being an out-of-body experience for Kendra to realize that she is attached to this man for all these different incarnations, and she has to meet him and work with him and form this connection again and see if they're actually truly compatible. But I would also, if you want, I know sometimes they're not always combined, I would like to see the alien stuff too. Give me Thanagar, give me the nth metal, give me all that world building. There's a lot of potential either way you go, but if you want to combine them too, I think it would make a fantastic show. You just got to get the right people with the right chemistry.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
That sounds sick.
It does sound incredible. Like, because I am a big Hawk fan. Mm-hmm. Like I so especially and that is the one part of Black Adam that I actually was locked in for, is the Hawkman stuff, because I love Aldous Hodge as an actor, but just looking at the character, I've been wanting some more like Hawkman and Hawkgirl love in DC media, which is like that's a constant. Like even all my picks are characters who I want to see more in DC media, who I feel like haven't been adapted enough. But they're so rich with story, they're so rich with like depth. Like even like doing that whole star-crossed lovers thing, you can do so much with that to where it's like, okay, you have two people who don't know they're reincarnated, but they're at different stages of life. How does this lead them to each other? How does, if it's Thanagarians hunting them or whatever, that could be such a dope story.
Yeah. Even where it's like if they have to be in a situation where they're forced to work together and one of them's like, I don't believe that we're meant to be together. This is just superstition or it's past lives or whatever, and they slowly have to fall in love again. It's similar to what Legends did. I just don't think Legends did a good version of it, and I think that's a story with so much potential to be adapted in live action.
Yeah, yeah. Like I feel like that whole, even thinking from a storytelling like perspective, right? That whole star-crossed lovers thing, you know, knowing that you're meant for somebody but not wanting to follow that.
Yeah.
That could even be a deep ass story in itself. And I think they actually kind of tried to do that with Justice League Unlimited. How familiar are you both with the Green Lantern Hawkgirl story in that show?
Not very.
I know that it's basically become where Hawkgirl's become somewhat of a Green Lantern love interest because of that show.
Yeah, that show did it beautifully to where they kind of did what you're saying, like where Hawkgirl knew that she was meant for Hawkman, but she was in love with Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
And Jon Stewart wanted to be with Vixen, but was in love with Shaira, who is Hawkgirl. So, it was a beautiful love story that in the show didn't end with them together, but they had a comic continuation where Vixen was killed by the Shadow Thief.
Oh. Okay.
And that caused Hawkgirl and Green Lantern to get closer and create a son.
Yeah. That's really so. I liked it so much, and not to make mine win, but if any show's gonna get all the TikTok edits, it's gonna be the one about star-crossed lovers.
That is so true.
No,
I think
they're gonna make 10 different TikTok edits of that bullshit with the fucking score from If Beale Street Could Talk. I guarantee you.
And I'll repost everyone.
Yeah.
For real.
And it'll be beautiful. All right. We are going to get into category 3. This one is interesting. It is a video game, which is very different than movies and shows. Jackson, you were not a video game developer. Give me your idea.
What am I going to say?
I know.
No, tell me.
It's Wonder Woman.
No, tell me genuinely. I want to know what you think I'm going to say.
Wonder Woman.
No.
No?
Can't do
Green
Wonder Woman
Lantern.
twice.
I would do Green Lantern.
Wow. I'm proud.
Because I think you could do some really sick... I'm thinking purely from gameplay here. I'm not going to lie. Like, I thought zero about story with this one. Mm-hmm. But I think just from a pure gameplay perspective, doing Green Lantern opens up the doors for just, like, so much cool shit. Obviously, you would run into some trouble because you have a guy who can create anything. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I think if you were to build the game out right, you could figure out some really unique ways to kind of work the power set into the actual gameplay.
Mm-hmm. Like
okay,
how
you got to pick a lantern though.
Yeah.
If you're gonna pick a, we can't just not pick a
Jon Stewart.
John Stewart. Okay.
Ooh.
I like it.
I'd do Jon Stewart, but I'd want all the lanterns in there. Yeah. You know.
Who would be like the main villain? I mean, I know you haven't thought too much about story, but who, if you had to choose one right now, like off the cuff, who would it be?
Dormammu.
Dormammu.
No, I'm playing.
Across the multiverse.
Fuck, man.
Atrocitus would be really cool. The big red guy.
Yeah.
Powers. Yeah, he'd be cool. It'd be cool too if you had a Green Lantern game where you could swap different characters.
That's kind of what I imagined. Is like, different Green Lanterns. What they create, they kind of focus in on different things.
Yeah.
Like I think almost like strategizing with what lantern you're playing as. Kind of like, this is going to be a really stupid comparison, but like the Lego games where you kind of gotta like. No, listen, Sean.
Lego Batman 3.
You have to use different people to do different things. Like in Lego Star Wars, the complete saga, if you want to like get through the door, you have to go as R2-D2. But if you want to blow up the big silver object, you have to play as Boba Fett.
Right.
Let him cook.
I'm saying a more complex version of that system where you have to use different lanterns to accomplish different things.
I like that. Like, because they're all, like you said, they are all honed in on different things. Like John is more like that tactical army side of things. Like Kyle Rayner is more anime Gundam style of creation. Hal is more like aerial missiles, all that other stuff.
Yeah, you can have him like make a fighter jet and drop a bunch of bombs on people.
Oh no.
How? But he was in the military, right? So it makes sense.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Can I play as the squirrel, Chip?
But I do Green Lantern. That would be
okay.
That'd be my pick. Like, if I could have one, what?
You guys just unlocked a memory, but go ahead, continue.
Does this have to do with Green Lantern?
Yeah, it does have to do with Green
Is
Lantern.
it Green Lantern and Lego Batman?
No, a Green Lantern game.
Oh.
Yeah, but continue. Go ahead.
No, I got nothing else.
Yeah, there was a Green Lantern game called Rise of the Manhunters that I had for my DS when I was like younger, and there was a mission where I had to play as Chip.
The squirrel. The squirrel Green Lantern.
Yeah, it was so cool because he could create like little nuts and stuff to like throw at enemies. So that, or like acorns and stuff like that. That was a really cool aspect. That was just a random memory. It brought me so much joy.
Cool.
You know, Chip's coming to James Gunn's DCU. Like that's a foregone conclusion.
Sure.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that idea, Jackson. Even if they wanna later on in the game, you can unlock some of the other Lantern colors and play as I forget what the blue guy's name is. The Blue Lantern. Saint something.
Saint Walker.
Saint Walker. Yeah, that's who I want to play as. All right, Jalen, hit me with it. Video game.
Okay, so the
We lost Jackson for a second.
we did lose Jackson. I'm pretty sure he had to pee. But the game that I would do is a game that obviously has been dropped by DC already, and that would be Wonder Woman. I think for me that is like the most viable option to continue because there is so much potential there. I would see the game follow Wonder Woman as she goes to like different Olympian places like Greece and Hell especially. And I would see her like have different fights with different gods, kind of like
cool.
and I would want to make the world feel lived in. Like you see different gods all over the place, all over the place. Like you see Hephaestus. You go to Themyscira as an area, as like a hub. Maybe there's a scene or a moment in the game where you have to protect Themyscira as it's getting raided by soldiers from Hell, which is why I would make the main villain of the story Hades. I think that when it comes to a Wonder Woman game and when it comes to a Wonder Woman story, I think that Hades isn't her big bad. I would say that's more Ares or Cheetah as like her main arch nemesis. But when you're thinking of like a wider scope of like what would cause the most threat to the gods as well as to Themyscira, and I would say that would be Hades. So I would like some bosses that I would have her go against would be Cheetah. I would have her go against Cersei. I would actually feature a cameo, and I would have her go against. Hi, Jackson. I would have her go against Grodd and Giganta. I would have her go against Ares, this obscure character called Silver Swan. I would even have a mission in the ocean where she has to go up against a Kraken from Poseidon.
So is it an open world game or is it purely level based?
It is an open world game.
Okay.
It's very much like Insomniac, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a Wonder Woman game.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Dude, I know. You think I'm out of the loop? I'm not out of the loop.
It would be like Insomniac, Spider-Man, and God of War, especially.
Yeah, I was thinking God of War too. I mean, that's the obvious thing to go to when you think of like that type of game and with Wonder Woman and her characters. I like that. So it's less focused on some of her classic villains like Cheetah and Giganta and all that. And it's a lot more focused on her roots and her origins in the Greek pantheon.
And there would be a mission. Actually, the Grodd and Giganta mission would feature a Wonder Girl team up, and it would be Donna Troy, who is living her life with her husband.
Okay, I like that a lot.
Yeah. Dope.
They need to get us in the room. We got some heat right now. I'm gonna get you guys a video game. Again, I was thinking video game's gonna give me a lot of room for storytelling, but it's also gonna give me a lot of opportunity to do something with VFX. Jackson, what is it?
I'm just surprised we haven't overlapped at all yet. Like,
ideas?
just for the watcher or listener at home, we did not look at each other's lists before.
No, this is all from the dome.
Yeah.
I think that speaks to how many different things you can do with DC and how much potential there is.
Continue. Sorry.
Anyway, I was thinking it's going to be something I can do a lot with VFX stuff because it's a video game, but it's also something I have a lot of storytelling room for. What can I do? And what's a character that has a lot of depth that would be really cool to explore in that way? My video game, The Last Martian. We're going to do Martian Manhunter. So we're going to follow... I don't know how much of we're gonna see of him on Mars because it's called The Last Martian. So obviously you see the death of Mars and a lot of that civilization fall. So that'll probably be the beginning part of the game, and then you go to Earth, and it's about him, being on Earth and learning how to adjust and using his detective skills, being able to transform to different people. You can do a lot of stealth missions and a lot of undercover type stuff. Obviously, I think him being weak to fire is a really cool game mechanic because in video games, how much stuff is lit on fire and exploded, and that it's Martian Manhunter is a very powerful character, but that also limits him in a really cool way, in something that a video game would really excel at. I don't know who he would be fighting yet, probably his brother or something like that, but I just know if I'm wanting to introduce a character to people that it might be a little confusing, if people saw Martian Manhunter in a video game and really attached to him, then you could bring him into movies and shows. I was thinking like most closely like something like Jedi Survivor, of like the type of story. So not completely open world, but very story based, and just focus on expanding on this one character.
Yeah, that would be sick, honestly. Especially because it would kind of remind me a little bit of like Life is Strange.
Ooh, I like that. That's cool.
A tiny bit, you know, because you are going more story centric with the character and not focusing more on like the action, like the more badass side of things with Martian Manhunter, which I love because that is one of my favorite parts about Martian Manhunter's character growing up, was watching, seeing how he got used to Earth life and how he got used to, obviously his family died. So he is in this new stage now, and he's in this new environment where he can kind of be anyone who he wants to be, but it's mainly about figuring out who exactly he wants to be and what exactly he wants to be. So I think going more story-based rather than action spectacle-based for this game would be a really sick-ass idea.
Yeah. Martian Manhunter is a character that just needs to be back out in the public mainstream. He was in Supergirl for a lot of it, and Supergirl's not a crazy well-developed show. But Martian Manhunter, because of David Harewood and just like some of the side plots they gave him, was such a cool character. Even his dad was played by Carl Lumley, who is being interviewed by our friend Jamor in a week or so. There's just a lot of depth to that character that is unexplored, and I know he's going to be introduced in the DCU. I think video game would be perfect for him, and plus some of his powers are so cool. Give me missions where I can just be in my trench coat, walking the streets, and discovering information, and then I transform into the Martian, and I get to beat up some thugs. It's gonna be peak. Yeah.
He said peak.
Peak.
Let me ask a different question. Is there a moment in Martian Manhunter's vast history of like comics, media, TV, whatever, that stands out to you?
No, because I need to get more developed with the character. Mine's primarily from movies and shows. So I've really been attached to his like family history. I like when especially when he finds out about Miss Martian, there's just other Martians there. Mm-hmm. But this is the last Martian, so it's going to be very focused on him. And I think if you're going to do like, if his brother's the villain, that's going to be like a big reveal at the third act of the game, that there is another Martian alive. He's not the only one. And he's getting adjusted to this world, and now his past life is coming back to haunt him by maybe killing some of the supporting cast or whatever it be. Yeah. So you draw upon him being, again, like Aquaman, stuck between two worlds. I've always loved that concept of any character.
Yeah.
So would you have? So sorry to bombard you with questions. I'm just so interested because it sounds like such a sick ass idea. Would you have Miss Martian like a tease, or would you have like something that's?
She would not be in the. Yeah, maybe at the very end. Like, but it's not gonna be like a Miles situation where she's like part way in the game, but not really.
That's
I wouldn't.
What I'm thinking.
If we're gonna introduce any other Martians, it's gonna be his brother or like a white Martian. You know.
Okay.
Like, a villainous side of things. Just to show that his past can haunt him, but he also can grow from it and be better. Like Miss Martian is a character that's interesting, but I don't think she's fully grounded in the way that I want this show to be, or this game to be at launch, you know?
I love that. So. Absolutely love that idea. Any closing thoughts?
I like it.
There we go. All right, Jackson, round 4, animated movie. It's a big one.
We're almost to the big one, which is live action movie. That's the one where I'm going to lose all my credibility here. All right, animated movie. What did I write down? Oh, I know what I wrote down. Okay. All right, so I decided I'm not going to do Batman Beyond because everybody's going to say Batman Beyond. Apparently not you. Oh, shit, nobody's saying Batman. Fuck. I could have just taken the cheap option and said Batman Beyond.
Well, that's not fun.
I know it's not. That's why I didn't do it.
Okay,
so
what do you got?
I'm going with an interesting one. Granted, I'm going to preface this by saying this is a character who's been adapted in 10 bajillion different ways. But I think the most interesting way that you could adapt this character is in in an animated film, and that would be The Flash. I feel like The Flash's power sets just kind of like scream to me to be in like a super hyper stylized animation. Okay. And also just in a film I'm not talking like a straight to streaming. I'm talking like a theatrically released, do what they did with Spider-Verse and like really put the passion and money and time into making it like something really, really, really good. And do Reverse Flash because Jesus Christ, are we in dire need of that. And it can be set in the DCU or not. I don't care. But I feel like I'm just kind of itching to see Flash's powers portrayed in like a really stylized way, and I think that's easier in animation. So yeah, that's kind of where I would go with an animated film.
There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with the Flash's powers, and especially animation gives you even more. And they've already done so much with live action. I mean, 9 seasons on a movie. So we're doing Barry Allen, right? I assume if we're doing Reverse Flash.
I would do Barry and Wally. I would have Wally
in
be
the same
in
movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's how I would tackle it at least.
Yeah, honestly, with an animated movie too, and how colorful the Flash's villains are, you could tease some more of those in there because they're so fun. Captain Cold, Gorilla.
No, and that's the thing. I would really like put an emphasis on the Rogues Gallery.
Okay.
That Flash has too.
I like that.
Which ones?
I definitely want Captain Cold.
Yeah.
I really want Captain Cold.
That's one.
That's like the top of my list. I really want Captain Cold.
That is one that I really wanted to hear.
Cool. I'm trying to think of like who a good voice for the Flash would be.
I have absolutely no idea.
Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk is the
Do
Flash.
anything.
Yeah, exactly. Alan Tudyk.
If you give Alan Tudyk a DC character, he can probably voice him at least fairly well. At this point, like
he has voiced Barry Allen before.
I have one voice
really?
fan cast, but I'm
That's
saving
so
it
funny.
for. I have one voice fan cast, but I'm saving it for something else, so I'm not going to say it right now.
Oh, that we're talking about today. You're saving it.
Kind of. You'll see. You'll see. Right. It's a popular fan cast that I want anyway. So, I like the Flash a lot, Jackson.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling is the Flash.
Yeah, there we go. I solved it, guys.
There you go. At least he'll be blonde, you know. It'll be lore accurate. Okay. Jalen, what you got for animated movie?
All right. So, growing up for me, there is a comic series that I just could not understand as a kid because it was so intricate, and it was actually in development for the DCEU, but it got canned very early on in its development. My animated movie would be The New Gods.
I like that.
I would, because one thing about that is infamous with the New Gods original comic from the 1970s is that it's so intricately drawn, so many colors, so many moving pieces of Apocalypse flying all over the place on the screen. It's hard to adapt that in live action, but it won't be hard for artists, for actual drawers, not AI artists, for actual artists, because we advocate for real artists here. But
no, I think we should let the machines take over. Me personally, I say fuck it. I'm a nihilist now.
So, new Gods, you gotta walk me through. I was thinking about something in there because someone DM'd me the other day and said they should adapt the Mr. Miracle like modern run, and I'm like, that sounds like a really cool idea. Yeah. And I was thinking about throwing a New Gods pitch into mine, but I don't know enough about the characters just because they haven't been fully adapted and I haven't read them a ton. So walk me through like kind of a general premise of them.
So the New Gods are kind of like what Marvel's Eternals are, but better. Very, very, very much better. Much better.
Damn, tell us how you really feel.
You have, I mean, and I love that movie, but I just love these characters so much more. But I think, especially Mr. Miracle's current run, or most recent run, if you haven't read that, for our listeners out there, you should totally go pick it up at your nearby comic book shop, but or Barnes & Noble or Books A Million or whatever. Mr. Miracle was an escape artist on Apocalypse until he actually escaped for good and ended up meeting Big Barda, who was one of the female Furies working for Darkseid. And this character, this lackey of Darkseid called Granny Goodness, who is this old woman who leads this this army of like ferocious women. Their names are Bernadette, Lashina, and Stampa. And Big Barda was a member of that before she fell in love with Mr. Miracle and they went away. But the New Gods are a group of people. I believe they split it into sides, like the light side, or the high side and the low side, or the dark side and the light side. Like the dark side is obviously Darkseid, his nephew Calabac, his uncle. I'm blanking on his name, but the villain of Justice League of the
Steppenwolf.
Yeah, Steppenwolf. Desaad, who is like his lackey, and then you have Granny Goodness and her Furies. But then you have the light side, which is like Orion, who has a helmet similar to Peacemaker, but not exactly. Like his color scheme, helmet design, everything looks a little bit like Peacemaker. Honestly, you should look.
And he has one of those like floating bikes, kind of like
that is his thing. Is this like a floating bike that he just rides around on, or a flying scooter basically that he just
flying Segway. That's what I was thinking of. Segways.
That's
yes.
uncanny.
Exactly. It looks exactly like Peacemaker. But then you have another obscure character called Light Ray, who has a mother box attached to his belt that allows him to travel to and from different areas at the speed of light. You have Mr. Miracle and Big Barda on light side, and then you also have this group called the Foragers, which are like scavengers on Apocalypse.
Right. So you're bringing all these characters in, because that's a lot of lore to.
Yeah, which is why I would not go in with this being a one movie thing. I would go in with this being multiple movies, like kind of like treating it like Lord of the Rings, and making it maybe this is or Dune, for instance, like maybe having this be like part 1 of the epic, and then part 2 and part 3, or part 2 if we only get to 2 parts, being more of that epic side of things, like how Dune 1 was more setup of this world. Of Arrakis.
So are you playing this more serious or more lighter? Because you have characters like Granny Goodness and Big Barda. They're not necessarily easy characters to latch onto in a serious fashion, you know? So
I am playing this more serious. Which fun fact, Granny Goodness was in the back of Zack Snyder's Justice League. She was standing on the other side of... Yep. I would be going more serious with this, with some more lighthearted moments, because I would want to make this more of an epic series. It would just be the matter of figuring out how you fit a character in like Granny Goodness and Mr. Miracle and Big Barda into that serious world. Okay. So you kind of could go tone of Invincible almost, where Invincible is very serious, but it does have its lighthearted moments.
I will say it's something that I thought when Eternals came out too. It's just similar. I like your idea a lot. I would do it as a show.
I think there's the same thing with that. This feels like a show.
There's so much more time to, because there's so many characters. I think maybe if you have a solid plan to make both movies and you make the complete story, there's a lot of cool cinematic stuff you can do with it, and then theatrical gives you a lot. But the thing with Eternals was I always felt like this needed to be developed more. Of all the things that weren't, because everything that was a show on Disney Plus in those early days, I was like, this should be a movie. Yeah. Eternals was the one where we all thought this should be a show because there's 10 characters. We need time to flesh it out. I think it could work as a movie, but I'm going to fight you on it, man. I'm going to say, give me a New God show.
A New God show, okay.
And delve that out. But then, I don't know. It'd be really cool. The other question is, they tried to set up Darkseid as the main villain of the last DC universe. If this is part of the new DCU, are you making Darkseid set up as a big bad again for
I would not be
things?
Setting him up as a big bad. I would be setting him up as like just someone who is like out there and is out there. But I actually I have another big bad in here, which we will get to in the event section.
Okay. I like it. All right. Animated movie was tricky. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Do you guys remember the streaming service before all streaming services, DC Universe?
Yes.
Yeah.
I brought it first day.
Yeah,
You definitely did.
I did.
yeah, it had a lot of actually hidden gems. I mean, Titans was a flop, in my opinion, but Doom Patrol was great, Harley Quinn was great, Swamp Thing, all that stuff. They had a few shows planned they never did because they got folded into HBO Max. One of those was called Strange Adventures.
I heard about it.
And it was going to just feature Adam Strange going on these wacky things. I want to, like, take ideas of that and expand it because I loved seeing Adam Strange in Krypton again. A lot of stuff just goes back to how many cool ideas were in Krypton that no one ever talks about. Give me Strange Adventures because no one watched it, and that's why I got canceled.
I mean this sincerely. I think you're the only person I know that's seen that show.
I mean it sincerely when I say it's one of DC's greatest shows. You two are the only people I know that have seen that show. Jalen, it's an amazing show. It's awesome, and it's on Sci-Fi Channel of all things. I loved it. Anyway, give me Strange Adventures. That gives you an animated movie. You can just do a wacky, fun adventure. Give me Adam Strange and Lobo doing a little buddy cop thing. You can throw in a couple other side characters to make it more of a team thing if you want to do it, but they have to team up for whatever reason, and they get set off on a quest, and they just explore all the strange parts of DC Cosmos. You can maybe do a little run-in with the Lanterns, run-in with Thanagar, run-in with all this stuff, and they're going to fight somewhat serious of a boss, but no villain that's going to be too major. It's not going to be Ant-Man fighting Kang or anything like that. They're going to fight something reasonable, but it's just going to be a movie that it's fun and explores the weird concepts of DC that you can't do in live action.
Yeah. So
it's going to be lighter, but not kiddie, because obviously Lobo's in it, and he's going to be doing his typical Lobo stuff, and that gives you Jason Momoa too. So
yeah,
I think there's a lot of fun stuff you could do, and then if whatever works there, because you're throwing everything at the wall, then you can say, oh, we can bring that into our actual big live action movies and stuff.
Yeah,
I would agree.
I dig it.
Yep, and. Yeah, I don't know. That's my big thing. We have live action movie for round 5. Jackson, you seem excited. What do you got for me?
So this is the one that's gonna lose me all credibility. What'd you do? Okay, yeah, yours is gonna go over better than mine. All right. So I need to preface this with a couple things. A, it's going to sound like a bit at first, but this is not a bit. I swear to God. I am completely serious.
I think I know what he's already picking, too. That's the thing.
Is it Kite Man?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Hold on. Listen.
Wait, is that actually Kite Man?
Listen.
My God.
Let me talk. All right. B, I almost made this. I have a script. Okay, I'm not one to go out and make fan films, but this is the one. This is the one fan film that I was like, I really want to do this.
Kite Man Lotus.
Shut the fuck up. Get out of my face. Now you fucked up my train of thought. Good job.
Keep going, man. I'm excited.
What was my C? I had one more thing I wanted to preface this with. But I guess I have nothing else. So we're just going to dive right in since you spoiled it and now everybody knows what it is. Sometimes hydrating comes at a cost, bro. It goes down the wrong pipe. You fucking breathe it in. Sorry. Anyways, okay. C, the character of Kite Man, since you brought it up, has been turned into a joke.
Yeah.
Even in Harley Quinn, he's in that so much, he's just a fucking big character. Even in his own show
now. Yeah.
And he's just a big character.
But he's awesome big character.
Yes, I like him in Harley Quinn. I'm not knocking on that. But, okay. D, out of all the ideas I have, I feel like if I put this on James Gunn's desk, this would be the one I'd get like a yes on, the easiest.
Out of every idea.
Out of every idea that I could possibly present.
I would actually agree.
But, okay, I'm just going to get right into it. Have either of you read The War of Jokes and Riddles?
I have not.
No.
Damn. Okay. Well, that's a comic where Batman where the Joker and the Riddler are having like this big fucking gang war. Like every fucking Batman villain is there and they're all fighting each other and they're turning Gotham into a fucking mess. It's not very good. But what is good is Kite Man's story. So I would call this movie The Ballad of Kite Man, which is I see his face. So that is there are issues in that comic series called The Ballad of Kite Man. He has his own individual issues in that comic series in which his wife and kids are murdered.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That's not a joke.
That got dark.
I know, exactly.
Jesus.
So I would tell that story, but strictly from Kite Man's perspective, because his storyline in that is so much more interesting than everything else going on. I would change it up a little bit because it would Batman, Joker, and Riddler are side characters. They're not like the main driving force. Basically, the entire war of the jokes and the riddles is kind of like a background thing. It is kind of the backdrop of the movie. Sorry, and it would follow kind of Charlie Brown, if you will. That's his name. And I would lean into like the Charlie Brownisms too, but. The film would be kind of inspired by like Coen Bros, like dark comedies, like Burn After Reading. It would be kind of in the vein of that, where it is like very deadpan, very dark, but also like kind of funny. So it wouldn't be like, look at Kite Man, it's so stupid. Like it wouldn't be like self-referential or like self-aware. I'd want to play it like straight, and the bits kind of come out more organically. And Kite Man would have some friends. He would have Calendar Man. He would have Milkman Man. He would have 50% Chad, and there was one more. Oh, Snowflame. So if you don't know Snowflame, he's a character where he snorts cocaine and then is able to shoot fire after he snorts cocaine. Milkman Man is a clone of Superman, but he's like dressed as like a milkman. He's in like 2 comics, I think. He's really obscure, but I think that is just
that is
fascinating
right up James
character.
Gunn's alley.
Are these imaginary friends or are these real characters?
These are real friends.
Okay.
And 50% Chad is a guy that he's just like pants. He's a Doom Patrol villain, and he smells like shit. That's his entire thing. So like he's with these like genuinely disgraced like super villains, and it's basically about the cost of being a hero in a situation like this. Because Kite Man kind of has spent his whole life doing petty crime, and the moment he tries to step up and kind of do the right thing, his entire family gets killed. So it's kind of about Kite Man. I say Kite Man, and it makes me laugh. It's about Chuck trying to, learn what it means to be a hero and overcoming, all his grief, depression, sorrow. He's kind of a miserable fucking loser the whole movie because he's Charlie Brown, You lean into the Charlie Brownisms. So he would just be a pathetic little man most of the time. But it would be about him kind of learning to do what's right no matter the cost. And that's my pitch.
Well, that's why we call them pitches, folks. That sounds great, man. I see the vision very clearly. It's not at all marketable.
No, it would never get made, and that's why. I'm so dead serious. If I was given one, if someone came up to me and said, "You get one DC movie, you can make one," I would make this. I don't give a fuck.
That's your cult classic movie right there, though.
It's like 2 people would see it, but you could also make it for real cheap. That's the one upside.
You could.
I think that's great. Any character that you can really subvert expectations like that and pull from something really raw and genuine.
I think like just like 50% Chad. I think Snowflame. I think fucking Milkman Man are all like really fascinating characters within the. I feel like you could ground them in a really interesting way. Like you could just give Milkman Man like this total fucking identity crisis where he like I don't even think he can talk in the comics. He had like some weird thing with how he talks. I don't remember exactly what it was. But I had actually written a couple of scenes for this too. I was so serious about this.
Wow.
So you can kind of take what James Gunn did with Polka Dot Man and Suicide Squad and really expand on that and
Humanize them, make people love them.
Yeah, no, well, it was funny because I had this idea before that movie even came out. Like, when I tell you this has been with me for a while, I mean it. So when I saw Suicide Squad, I was like, man, I wish Kite Man was in this because he would do something so good with Kite Man.
Yeah. My last thought is in the third act because he doesn't fight a villain, right? It's an indie movie.
Well, no, but it does end up with him going with Batman to fight the Joker at the very end. And
right when he's about to fight the Joker, does he like utter under his breath? Does he go, "Oh hell yeah"?
Oh yeah.
And then
Oh yeah. No, because in the comic, there's this big scene where Batman, fucking Kite Man. You can look it up. Look up Kite Man, Kite Man War of Jokes and like Batman Kite, Batman on a kite. Batman wears a kite and he's like with Kite Man and Kite Man says hell yeah, and it's I think the greatest comic panel of all time. So I would adapt that like verbatim because I think that's an awesome.
Who are we casting as Kite Man? You have to have someone. ideally in mind?
Dude, I
Your
don't know.
one fan cast.
My one fan cast for Kite Man. You're putting me on the spot because I hadn't actually thought of
I
that.
have one.
What? Let me hear it.
Tim Robinson from the famous sketch show.
That would
I
be
think He
good.
should leave.
But he's too old, isn't he?
I don't think he's
Would you
Triple
make it-
H.
That's true. It depends. I guess I had imagined.
If you're gonna play a character that's sad and had a family and stuff,
I had
you can
imagined
play that
I had
dark
imagined
bits.
him like 30s. Like he's like washed up at the age of 30.
oh, okay. So who would you have then?
God damn it!
So we're
It's not
kidding.
showing up.
Yeah, it's not showing
I'll show you it after we're done. Who would I cast? Man, I don't know. Like I imagine Ryan Gosling in The Nice Guys.
Okay.
It's like
I
the
like
type of energy he has.
Gosling?
But no, not Ryan Gosling, but like specifically him in The Nice Guys is kind of the energy I'd imagine him with.
That's a good poll. Jalen, how are we feeling about this?
I would not cast Ryan Gosling just to.
You know, I love the passion behind it.
He said that shit's ass.
I absolutely love the passion behind it.
He said that shit's ass. I would know I said. Is what he's saying.
I would, you know,
Not sure.
it would matter about pulling in the wider.
I don't give a fuck about the wider audience.
I mean,
I didn't
you know
think a
what?
second about
or
them.
just making the story from your heart. I think.
He's trying to be nice here, like.
I think it is a classic, great idea.
He does not mean that.
See, James Gunn's hitting us with if the script is good, we'll make it. But if you pull this script up, I don't know. I think he's still giving it a double take, bro.
No, I know that.
Everyone's gonna read this over and be like, "Oh wow, this is over."
But again, you could make it for real cheap. You can make it for real cheap.
See, I
Kites aren't
actually
expensive.
think it would work a little bit better as an Amazon Prime show.
No,
No.
no,
I see.
because I think
I see
need.
some potential.
You could do a show.
Yeah.
I see that, but at the same time, it's like it's a contained story. The War of Jokes and Riddles. It's like it's a single trade. You know, it's
Yeah.
not that long spanning. So I feel like if you tried to stretch that out, you would have to include more Batman, and I don't want to fucking do that. I don't want Batman to be in there longer than he needs to be.
You want to keep it a Charlie Brown
I
story.
want to keep it a Charlie Brown story with Snowflame and 50% Chad and Milkman Man and Calendar Man.
So do they all wear their costumes the whole time?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
he has
I
the
had this
kite.
image in my head of Calendar Man, fucking like just chilling on his couch, like eating Cheetos. What the fuck? Why did this go off? I muted this early. We had to start the podcast over because my phone kept ringing. Sorry about that. But yeah.
I like it. I think it's interesting, man. I actually don't think it's a bad idea. I just obviously it'd be super
No, it's
hard
not
to pitch,
marketable. It would never get made.
but I want to see it. I think you should. If anything's gonna be made as a fan film, I mean,
Well, so there's this.
it's more interesting than a lot of Spider-Man and Batman fan films. we get.
There was a specific scene that I was going to adapt into a short film in which, like, they have to go to, like, government mandated, like, almost like rehab. You know, kind of like a fucking Alcoholics Anonymous group, but it's, like, for reformed, you know, F-tier supervillains. And that's where they all go. So I had, like, a specific scene from one of those that I was going to try and adapt into a short film. Like just a specific, like, you know, session. Because that's just a bunch of people sitting in a room.
I low-key want to see this made into a short film.
I feel like I have the script still. I'd have to
If
look.
we ever get 10,000 listeners years from now, I will play Kite Man. Jackson will direct. Exploring DC official production.
No, I'll do it. Like that is the one fan film I would make. And I say that wholeheartedly. Like in terms of writing and directing, that is the only one I would do.
Not a stop motion R-rated Vader fan film.
Yo, I do want to make that. Like, yo, that would have been so funny. That script was crazy.
you had a stop motion.
It was a parody. Do you know Star Wars Theory?
Yeah.
It was a parody of his fucking Darth Vader movie, and like a parody of all the people who wanted like a rated R Darth Vader movie. So it was like this fucking stupid Lego stop motion where like, you know, they play Bonfire by Childish Gambino and like Darth Vader saying fuck all the time.
I love Childish Gambino.
Yeah.
And Vader. Those are my two favorites.
You know, it's like it goes together like bread and butter. I'm sorry, I've taken up so much time.
Jalen,
Now I
when
gotta
we're
go
doing
tweet.
live action movie, hit me with it. We lost Jackson again.
Yeah, there goes Jackson again.
Right for your pitches, man.
So that is the message from the pod, is to run for your pitches. My my live action movie is so far from what Mr. Wells just had. I am a huge Green Arrow fan.
Oh god.
I am a really, really, really huge Green Arrow fan, and I would kill for a Green Arrow movie, and I would actually see the film where I would have it be Green Arrow and Arsenal, Roy Harper for the listeners, team up to take down Count Vertigo, who has been running drugs through the elites of Star City. Because I know in most cases you see it ran through the underground, right? But I actually want to make it a big corporation thing, and I would want to have the movie kind of be like a social commentary on how the elites be fucking up sometimes, and how stuff is always going on behind the scenes. Because Oliver Queen is one of the elites of Star City. So having the drug trade run through, say, some unknown parts of Queen Consolidated, or having it run through, some of his business partners' businesses, having it all be ran through Count Vertigo. I think that would be a cool ass story to tell, just because I think there are so many Green Arrow stories. Like, there's a story in the comics that I absolutely love called Quiver, where basically it is Green Arrow gets brought back to life by the Spectre, and it's basically a story about Green Arrow trying to get used to life after death, basically, and finding his purpose again, seeing that Arsenal now has a daughter, seeing that Black Canary is, still fighting crime, but she's taking his death really hard. The Justice League has moved on. They've built statues of him. Kind of that surrealist thing of like, I died, and coming to terms with that. I wouldn't adapt that in a first Green Arrow movie, but it is just to kind of show the point that I do think that there are multiple Green Arrow stories that can be adapted into film.
Okay, so this Green Arrow is already established as a...
We
already have a lot of lore and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, because I think that who we would pull in from a marketing standpoint would be the Arrow fans, to see how he's done on the big screen in an established fantastical universe. Most people already know. I mean, they legitimately spent 5 seasons telling this man's origin story in flashbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
They did do that, didn't they?
They did. So I feel like, you wouldn't need to see that in a live-action Green Arrow movie. But my main cast of characters would be Green Arrow, Arsenal. Black Canary would have an appearance in here, or some appearances in here. Count Vertigo. I would actually have a moment where they go to Markovia. I don't know if it would be in the second act or the third act. But they would go to Markovia, and there are 2 very significant DC figures in Markovia that could tie into Titans and the Outsiders. Their names are Geoforce and, of course, Terra, who is Geoforce's sister. And I would also have the League of Assassins be a part of this. I would even include special appearances from Jon Stewart, maybe maybe Oliver has to go to his neighborhood or something, and it's just a moment. You wouldn't see John in costume or anything like that. You would just, maybe run into him on the streets, and they would have a conversation about, businesses giving to lower income areas, like how we talked about last week on Steel. Yeah. I would have Peacemaker make an appearance. Okay. In this sense, he is coming closer to the Green Arrow side, and I would give a cameo to David Ramsey. I don't know who that character would be.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
But I would give him a cameo.
That's a lot in a debut Green Arrow movie to bring. My question is, obviously, the thing with the Flash and with Arrow now, bringing them back into the fold, I think the Flash movie kind of struggled with it. When you have a show that's run on for so long, it's kind of defined the character because it's the first adaptation. Mm-hmm. And especially with Arrow, it's a lot more of a inspired by the Dark Knight, inspired by Batman, not very traditional Green Arrow with the Playboy isms and him being Robin Hood. How do you convince, what do you do to establish to the audience that this is a new version of Green Arrow? Because I imagine a lot of people that casually watch Arrow are going to go in expecting something similar. This is going to be, I assume, a pretty tonally different take on the character.
It'll be tonally different. skill set wise, like focusing on different things, I would be banking on the script being good enough and the character building of this version of Oliver being good enough to where it just pulls the audience in and is like, damn, I love him already. He's so charming, kind of treating him a little bit like James Bond, a little bit like with that charming aspect, that charming playboy side of him, and giving that to Oliver, but making it a little bit more quippy, or more like lighthearted, more jokey, more quippy. So I would feel like to differentiate it from Arrow and to pull more audiences in, it would lie in the tone of this character and making you truly love this version of Oliver.
Jackson, how we feeling? Green Arrow movie? Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's getting older, but I still liked the Charlie Hunnam fan cast. I know he just needs his big break as now. I feel like he's picking the wrong projects, but I like what he does. He was in King Arthur and Rebel Moon, a lot of the stuff that's not very good, but I think Charlie Hunnam has a lot of potential, and I think he looks the Green Arrow look really well. So that would still be my big fan cast that I enjoyed.
He does. There's an actor out there. I think Charlie Hunnam doesn't want it. I really want Charlie Hunnam too, but I think he posted online a year or two ago that he was like, "Stop fan casting me as Green Arrow. I don't want to wear spandex."
Paycheck can change anything.
Yeah, that is true. A paycheck can't change anything. But I am tired of people taking these roles for a paycheck, which is my main issue with Doctor Doom as of right now.
That's your main issue? Yo, that's crazy.
No, I mean there are a lot of issues there, but I want actors and writers and directors to take on these stories not because they see a good investment from it. I mean, yeah, that is a part of it, but to actually care about these characters, and to actually show respect to these characters on an actor's perspective. That's why I think Loki is so good, because Tom Hiddleston loves Loki, and he loves the journey that two Lokis have been on at this point, and both of those character journeys are amazing because you can see that passion that Tom Hiddleston has for that character. Even I guess Charlie Cox as Daredevil, you see that passion that he has for Daredevil, and I just want more people more actors, more writers, more directors to take on these projects.
That loves the role, right?
Yeah, that love the role, that love the world, that love these characters.
Jalen, let me hit you with 3 pretty obscure actors in the industry. Hit me with a quick yes or no as Green Arrow, okay? I'm taking what your considerations in mind. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Just quick yes or no. It's gonna be rapid fire. Ready? Pedro Pascal.
No.
Okay. Tom Holland.
No.
Oh.
Dwayne Johnson.
No, hell no.
Chris Pratt.
Yes, Chris Pratt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you for
All right.
No, I'm not.
Chris
for real.
Pratt as Green Arrow. We got it settled. Good. Okay.
Charlie Day.
Absolutely.
Oh, bet.
Charlie
Whoopi
Day's
Goldberg.
Green
Ben
Arrow.
Stiller.
Actually, I'm trying to think. Maybe Rob McElhenney as Green Arrow wouldn't be terrible. I could see it.
Who is that?
He's from Always Sunny.
Always Sunny.
He's in other shows as well.
You should not do Green Arrow, bro. What are you talking about?
Give him a serious role. Give him a chance. Okay.
You should give himself a chance.
I think so. Yeah, I like that a lot, Jalen. Green Arrow. Obviously, it's gonna be hard to break away from the show. Just like I think the Flash is also gonna need. I like your Flash animated movie, Jackson, but it's gonna take a minute to break away from the prior adaptations. But I like those a lot. My live action movie, I was struggling. My original idea was actually similar. I know, Jackson, you said we didn't have any overlap. I was thinking about Nightwing never getting a proper adaptation, and I just was so stuck on the idea of, I hate the trend now that every movie is just, their first name, and so I just was thinking of Dick the movie as the big Nightwing movie, but I was like, Nightwing's not a fun choice, and also, a concern that I saw brought up that I agree with is the only female-led project right now we know a female character is Supergirl in the DC.
Yeah.
I know Paradise Lost is that's an ensemble show. So I wanted
They
to
can
get
fix
a female,
that real quick by giving Wonder Woman an animated
Right.
show.
Absolutely. So I wanted to give a female character their own live action movie, and I was going for the list of what characters I really wanted to see, and then I was thinking of what's been really cool lately is seeing they've been doing good with the villain stuff. They've been doing good with the Penguin. Clayface is looking really exciting. I was gonna say Joker, but then Joker 2 exists, and that makes me upset. Let's do a character that has so much potential, and they've done it time and time again. Let's do Poison Ivy.
Ooh, yes, duh.
A Poison Ivy movie.
Of course,
Wow.
yes.
A Poison Ivy
Yes.
movie.
It's
So we're
long
going to
overdue.
see her tragic origin, see her become the Poison Ivy character that we know, and see her also just get attached to plants and how they're there for her when her family is non-existent, when her friends are not there. Bring Floronic Man in there, bring the Green in there, a lot of the lore. Slowly get viewers immersed into that world, but keep it tonally dark and tonally just a tragic tale of Pamela becoming this, and make people understand that she's not just like a crazy plant lady that just wants green to understand why she's connected to these things, why she's formed that connection, even if it's a weird sadistic connection to plants. And then if you want to do an antagonist, depending on when this movie came out, pit her up against Swamp Thing.
Ooh.
Have them have a little fight in the Green because she's getting out of control. Swamp Thing's like, you need to be put under control. You are a new force emerging. Because the Green, if people don't know, is like, it's kind of like this other plane, Jalen, I think, is that the right term?
Yeah.
Where all these plant-like characters exist and can thrive. And it's cool that Beast Boy can connect to, is it the green or the red?
So Beast Boy is part of the red, which
The
kind of
red.
like that.
But they have different planes that people
Yeah.
can connect to, and Poison Ivy can connect to the green. I think you play into that and get a whole new side of the supernatural and really play into that aspect of it and make Poison Ivy a legitimate threat. So when you make a next Batman movie or whatever and you see Poison Ivy again, you're going to be scared. Similar to how at the end of the Penguin now we're scared of Oz and to see what he does. I think you can do so much with Poison Ivy.
Yeah, I think villain. I think we need more villain-led stories, especially DC villain-led stories.
Which are villain movies and not anti-hero movies, to be clear.
Because I think Penguin truly opened my eyes up to like the potential, as well as it opened a lot of people's eyes up to like, especially Batman villains. Like a Harvey Dent Two-Face series would go so hard. You know, just on that legal side of things, it would go so hard for the actor because he would need to like be playing dual sides, but expertly to like where he's trying to contain that other side of him, and still try to be trying to be the people's champion, the White Knight, as Gotham has named him.
The thing that's beautiful about Batman's Rogues Gallery, even though they've been done to death, is they all work so well.
Yeah.
They have such cool backstories that they work as their own movies. There's a reason why they keep going back to that well. I mean, the one that's always puzzling is the Joker because he doesn't have a backstory. I'm like, you have Penguin, you have Two-Face, you have Clayface, you have all these cool characters, and they all have these cool powers. Yeah. And that's what makes Batman's Rogues Gallery, aside from Spider-Man's, the most iconic ever. And Poison Ivy needs her light. She's been getting a lot of stuff on TV, but her only film adaptation was the Batman and Robin, which is considered one of the worst movies of all time. And
yeah,
I mean, Uma Thurman's iconic in it, but not the adaptation. She needs her second chance, and this is it. I like full force. Let's do Poison Ivy. People will eat it up. I don't know who you get in there. You got to get someone that's marketable, and
Millie
that's
Bobby
tricky.
Brown.
Millie Bobby Brown is Poison Ivy. I'm trying to think of someone that's gonna that's our up and coming star. That's
Millie Bobby Brown.
Millie Bobby Brown. Yeah. All right. I don't know if you guys have anyone legitimate.
I think that's a role where you get smaller actors because I can't really think
think
of
so?
one off the top of my head that works perfectly. Although there's definitely someone I'm missing that would work fine.
Jenna Ortega.
Jenna Ortega, yeah. I never hated
86.
the Raven fan cast of Jenna Ortega. I always thought that worked fine for me.
I hate that fan cast.
You think you hated it?
I hate it so much. I'm tired of seeing Jenna Ortega as an angsty teen. I want to see her
that's
branch.
fair. She's
I
getting
wanna see her
older.
branch out. She's such a great actress. I want to see her branch out and do more stuff that shows her talent
Yeah.
instead of just like, oh, I'm a teen who hates my mom
Give me Kaylee Spaney, Poison Ivy, and let's do some cooking. Let's go wild there.
So would you have Harley Quinn appear in this?
No. No, it's gonna be a darker. You got to play on the tragedy of it.
Okay.
You're not gonna have a lot of. There's gonna be moments in the beginning where she feels levity, and especially when she's surrounded by her plants. But it's going to be a tragic tale of how she was this up and coming botanist and PhD student that fell because of, Jason Woodrue and all this stuff. So
cool.
We've done animated show, live action show, video game, movies. I asked you guys to do an event movie or show. I gave you like some broad guidelines of like something that's based on some prior, but you guys really can go anywhere with it if you want to adjust your pitch at all. I'm thinking of something that's large scale, that's going to be a big movie that's going to draw people in. Either your Avengers movies or your No Way Homes or what have you. It can be based on a comic if you want. It cannot.
Put me last.
Put you
last?
Put me last this time.
Okay.
So I go first then.
You go first.
Yeah.
So my event film would be just called 0 Hour. And
Okay.
it would follow up on what the Lantern series is, what it appears to be doing. I don't know what it's actually doing. But let's just say that this villain called Eclipso, who viewers of Stargirl, you guys would know from season 2, right, Josh?
Of the show, yeah.
Yeah.
Eclipso was the main villain.
Eclipso is a really, really, really huge villain in the comics. He's a really huge Justice League villain. I would have it to where Eclipso, and I don't have this is my least planned out one because I actually I was struggling thinking of what a good event film would be because I simply don't know, because I would want it to be connected to the DCU, but I don't even know where I want them to go. I mean, I know the DCEU could have easily been something related to Darkseid, but with this, I don't know if they're doing Kingdom Come. It seems like it could be Eclipso based off of what Lanterns has done, especially with the whole synopsis of there is something going around murdering metahumans in this small town that they don't know what it is. I have a feeling that it's Eclipso gaining control of all these different people and killing them and then dipping out. Especially because Eclipso is he is a Green Lantern villain as well. So I feel, and 0 Hour is a Hal Jordan as the villain story, except for I would have Eclipso's vessel be multiple DC heroes, and I would have it lead to, I would do a part 1 and a part 2. I don't know, that's the thing, is I would struggle with scale, because I don't know how you make Eclipso big enough to merit 2 movies. But I also don't want to do 0 Hour to where it's Hal Jordan as the villain because we've done it so many times. There's potential there, but I feel like if you are doing 0 Hour at this stage, Eclipso might be your best shot. And it affects something in the future, and they have to get the help of Booster Gold and Rip Hunter and all these people to stop whatever it is. This one is definitely the one that I struggled with. But I would say 0 Hour in whatever way they wanna adapt it.
So Eclipse is a character that can access like a Shadow Realm type situation.
Shadow Realm and take control of different people.
Are we gonna play into is it gonna be very Nightmare on Elm Street type stuff?
Very. We are going very horror centric. I would focus on 3 teams for this movie. Or technically 3, maybe 2.5. I don't know if you count the Green Lantern Corps as a team, but I would have it focus on the Green Lantern Corps, the Justice League, and the Teen Titans, and have those be your 3 main focuses of this movie. So yeah, mine will be 0 Hour.
Okay, I think that's a good one. It would take maybe a little bit to get people on board, but once they understand who Eclipso is and what's going on, I think people would be excited about the scale of it, and then just to see people love seeing the Vision stuff. I mean, even when you look at Age of Ultron, one of the standout sequences is when all those Avengers go under Scarlet Witch's mind control, or even WandaVision. I think there's always been a need in film and TV for dream sequence and horror in that vein, and there you go.
Yeah.
Jackson?
Oh, you want me to go next?
No, I just saw your thoughts on 0 Hour, Eclipso.
Oh, yeah, I like
the
it.
event. Okay.
There you go.
Very short and sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready to go, or do you
Now
want me
you
to
go.
Okay.
I'm so interested to see this.
No, I'm completely switching up what I was doing.
All
I
right.
realized it was boring.
I'm scared to leave you for last, but I'm also excited to leave you for last. So.
It's not as out there as the Kite Man pitch.
Okay.
I promise.
All right. You're gonna have to. Mine's not out there, but you have to get on board. Okay. I'm gonna set the mood a little bit. So this is after the Justice League have been established. We're gonna put this in the DCU. I think some of the stuff, a lot of the stuff I pitched, would be in that DCU. It's like Poison Ivy and stuff. You're gonna put it. The Justice League has already been established, and Batman's already had a film come out, so he's already used to working with the League, right? He is working with a set of younger heroes because we're trying to bring new people into the fold. And he's working with some younger heroes, some a little older, and they're going on this stealth mission. His team right now is him, Blue Beetle, so we got Jolo back in there. You have Black Canary. You have Katana, who I think, again, was wasted in the DCU and or EU and has a lot of potential as a character. And then, this is the fan cast I was talking about earlier, Plastic Man. I want Ben Schwartz, the voice of
Banger.
Sonic the Hedgehog from Parks and Recreation, as Plastic Man.
That's a good one. I like that.
So it's a team that's not heavily superpowered but still has unique skill sets, and I think could also realistically be a stealth team. Anyway, they're going on a stealth mission, right? Something happens. Boom. They're gone. Kidnapped. Where did they wake up? Title of the movie? Arkham City. Then we find out that the same thing, similar to the classic Rocksteady games, that Batman is vehemently against, that Arkham has been evolved into this mass, like, huge wasteland of... I'm trying to explain Arkham City, Jalen. It's hard. But essentially, Arkham Asylum got turned into this big facility where, like, a whole city-size worth of Arkham inmates just running around loose because everyone got loose.
Yeah.
And it's about Batman kind of getting kidnapped and having to uncover this plot by Hugo Strange about what's going on in there, and a lot of Joker factors in. This one, the team wakes up. Again, they have to find out what's going on. There's just villains running rampant, and there's this scheme. I think your main villains there are going to be Hugo Strange again, working with Victor Crane, the Scarecrow, and you're going to have a lot of, similar to Eclipse, they're going to have a lot of fear, visions, and having the team really struggle through their personal demons. And seeing those characters in the Gotham setting and struggle, especially something like Blue Beetle or Plastic Man, you could get a lot of depth out of them being in that setting. And then you even factor in, like, the Poison Ivy movie, and you have this whole sequence of Poison Ivy is controlling this whole sector of Arkham City. And she's not a main villain, but you see her come back and have that villainous presence, and she's like Oz in the Batman, just super menacing and is a really big presence. Anyway, that's my whole thought. I just want to see Arkham City in live action, but I think just doing it with Batman would be boring, so let's bring in this whole team of
I like
heroes.
the team you chose.
And the only thing, none of them should be able to escape, so you have to damage Blue Beetle's wings in some form so he can't fly out of there. I don't think Black Canary, Katana, and Plastic Man are really breaking out, realistically.
Yeah. No.
Cool.
But
I rock with it, man. That sounds like a really cool idea.
There
like
you
a really
go.
action-packed idea, for sure.
Yeah. And, you know, people love those Rocksteady stuff, so people love the Arkham. Get it in there. But don't do a straight adaptation because you already have the video games. You don't need it.
Yeah.
Okay. Jackson,
Oh, boy.
big one for last.
Oh, boy.
Okay. I want to preface what I'm saying with the fact that I have been thinking about this for a grand total of about 4 minutes. So I am still, like, running through the motions here. I was going to come on here and pitch Kingdom Come, but I realized that's really fucking boring. So I'm not going to do that. As good as that would be. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to pitch what I would do as the final movie in the DCU. The last one. The thing that nothing else after this. Okay? I would do The Life and Death of Superman. So what it would basically be is it would kind of be structured like an American epic, kind of like There Will Be Blood, something like that. I'm talking strictly structure. Nothing else would be pulled from There Will Be Blood. Mm-hmm. But, like, you know, a movie that covers a lot of someone's life in, 3 hours, something like that. So what it would basically do is recount Clark's entire journey in the DCU, but strictly through his eyes. So any team-up movie he's in, anything like that, it would show just the effect that it's had on him personally. And it would basically just be a giant thesis statement for the character Superman to kind of show you everything he is about and the impact that he has had on this, wide-spanning cinematic universe and kind of how he is the definitive superhero.
I like that.
So I think it would be a good way to bookend it because it would end with the death of Superman, and you can end it with showing maybe he's not dead or whatever.
So I left open the events. Jalen, I assume you said yours was a multi-part movie.
Yes.
Mine would have been a movie. Jackson, yours is a movie?
Movie, yes. But a
3-hour
long movie.
With a live-action movie, I feel like it's kind of hard to go back and adapt all those moments again. Especially if the DCU's been going, I assume, running long for a long time, like many years.
I have no idea how you would do that.
Okay. So this is just purely
But you also don't know where technology is in 10 years.
Okay.
The kind of de-aging tech they used in Ant-Man, I'm not talking about that AI deepfake bullshit. I'm talking like the clock. Because, if it's 10 years from now, you could probably fix it with makeup or something. There are ways around it. I don't know how you would do it. As I said, I've been thinking about this for a total of 4 minutes.
7 minutes.
That's an idea I think would be interesting. Would be kind of ending it off on a very personal note, not because you would have all the characters there. You'd have Bruce, you'd have Diana, you'd have whoever the fuck else he's within the DCU, all the supporting Lois. Obviously, I mean it would be about her. It would be kind of her thesis statement in the same way it is Clark's. But
even with adapting past moments, would it be kind of off-screen stuff that Superman did, or
that's what I was thinking? It's kind of like showing the in-between moments of the movies and shows you've seen Superman in.
So how they showed Ahsoka in Revenge of the Sith moments, maybe.
Except they never did that.
Where she is during Revenge of the Sith, the movie.
Oh, you're talking about in Clone Wars?
Yes.
Oh, my
maybe
bad.
take a similar approach to that, where it's
I'm more thinking
where
it's
she was during.
Well, so, all right, if we're using the Clone Wars allegory, there's that scene where you basically see the front end of a scene from Revenge of the Sith, right?
Yeah.
And then Ahsoka fucking leaves. Or, sorry, the ending. It's the ending, and Ahsoka walks in, and then it would be kind of like that, where you see, if there's this big fight with Superman and Lex Luthor, you maybe see the aftermath or something like that,
Okay.
It's not a clip. I don't want it to be a clip show.
That's what I was curious about. I think there's a way to do it.
Well, it's because I specifically had this idea for Thor, which is why I kind of realized, okay, you could do this with Superman, and it would be really neat as well. Yeah.
Okay. I like it. I think the one thing too is I know you said Kingdom Come's a boring pitch, but that also works as a good bookend for a DCU if they ever wanted to do it like that. Maybe change some things around. It's not as much
it would
depth.
have to. You'd have to tame some things down a bit because it's so Elseworld Kingdom Come.
It's so Elseworlds, but yeah, I like just having one final. If it starts with Superman, it can end with Superman.
That's what I'm saying, but it is like a Superman movie that kind of shows you his whole life.
Okay.
I think that would be really. I think if you wrote it well, you could do something really impactful with that.
How old do we expect David Cornsweet?
Dude, I have no
to
fucking
be at
idea.
this point? You want him to be 80 or something? Or
No,
he's
not that
like
old.
40?
I would say maybe cover a 25-year period. So you would need a younger actor to play. You show him as a teen too and stuff, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Jalen, how we feeling?
I like it. I like it a whole lot. I think that it could be emotional, and it's like a beautiful full circle moment of you start with Superman, you end with Superman.
Cool.
So I like it a lot.
I don't know if you guys have your projects. I was gonna run through them one more time so people remembered. But animated shows, it was Wonder Woman, it was Challengers of the Unknown, and it was Aquaman. I think those are all pretty good. Very marketable thing. The Wonder Woman not being a show is crazy.
Let's with each section, let's say which one we think that James Gunn would take. If all three pitches were
Not Wonder Woman.
Which one do we think he would take?
I would
Lock
vote
in,
Wonder Woman.
Jimmy.
If I'm being realistic, I know it's ridiculous that it hasn't happened, but I think he would take it.
You think you would do Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
I do not, because he would have fucking done it by now.
I actually think he would either he would pick Challengers or Aquaman.
I agree with you.
Okay.
If he was gonna do Wonder Woman, he would have done it already.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I like live action show. We have 2 Robin shows, one Dick Grayson, one Tim Drake, and then we have the Hawks.
I feel like he would pick the Hawks.
I agree with
Yeah.
that.
I would pick it too. I'm biased. That was one of my favorites, so I'm really excited about it. Video games, we had Green Lantern, we had Wonder Woman, and we had The Last Martian. Wonder Woman I'm a little hesitant on just because it got canceled.
He is not picking that up.
He picked Last Martian.
Over
Okay.
Green Lantern?
Yeah,
I wonder if that's just because they're already doing so much of Green Lantern.
that's exactly it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But Green Lantern just needs to come back in a big force,
Yeah.
and the fact that we're already getting 2 shows and him in a movie is awesome. So.
Which is why I think he would actually pick the Green Lantern game because of that marketability value. You know?
Oh yeah, then you can bring those characters back and those actors. Yeah. Okay. We had animated movie. Jackson, you had The Flash. Jalen, you had
I had New
what'd you have for-
Gods.
New Gods. Okay, and then I did Strange Adventures.
Strange
Yeah,
Adventures.
I think you would pick that. I think you would pick Strange Adventures.
I would say The Flash. I think it's really cool. I don't know. I think he's gonna struggle to bring The Flash back, and animated
That's
movie
true.
might be the way to
Yeah.
bring it back. Because I think we're not gonna see The Flash for if the DCU keeps going. Ideally, we're not gonna see him for a couple of years. I can't imagine.
Do we think
So-
that with this little 6-year plan that he has going on, do we think that will be the end of James Gunn's run on the DCU?
Oh hell no.
He's just stopping after this.
Fuck.
If he gets 6 years, he'll want to do more. But
He's doing more. He's absolutely. There's no way he's stepping down after 6 years, man.
let's get past year 1 and see where we
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
where we stand. You know, live action movie, Kite Man.
The Ballad of Kite Man and
Ballad
James
of
Gunn.
Kite.
If you are watching or listening to this, my email is jacksonwellstudio@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. We'll set up a meeting and we'll make this Kite Man movie happen. Just hit up my line.
The Ballad of Kite Man. Green
Hit me
Arrow,
up, Jimmy. Hit me up,
Green
Jimmy.
Arrow and Poison Ivy. I don't know. Green Arrow looks pretty good.
So, chat, if you're listening, make sure to DM Josh specifically and tell him which one of these you want to see the most. Let's get some
That's
viewer
Kite Man.
engagement going. Make sure to send Josh a personal message on Instagram.com and tell him which one of these you want to see.
I think people want Kite Man.
And make sure only to send him this message if you want Kite Man.
Yeah, I think people
Okay.
want Kite Man.
But make sure to send him a personalized message. And Jalen, too. Make sure to send Jalen Singleton a personalized Instagram message about which movie you want to see.
I'm gonna clip that.
yeah,
Okay.
that is an Instagram.
Oh, it's even
Anyway.
clip farming. That's
that
great.
is an Instagram TikTok moment.
Jalen, I'm thinking Green Arrow. I think he's gonna pick it.
God damn it!
You're not getting Kite Man, bro.
Jimmy, please.
I'm thinking.
I'll do
No,
anything.
There's no chance. I think we're getting Green Arrow just because it seems like he really wants to make a Green Arrow movie.
I will say though, you're getting a stripped back Green Arrow. I don't think you're getting
Yeah.
the whole Green Arrow family plus
Yeah.
Count Vertigo plus Peacemaker plus
You're not
David
gonna-
Ramsey, all that. But that sounds great.
Peacemaker might be involved just because that is a James Gunn.
Yes, you will.
Yeah, I'm about to say
absolutely
just because that is such a big. But everyone else, no. Well, actually, I feel like if they were to go with the villain, it would have to be Count Vertigo because I don't think they would do League of Assassins or Merlin or any of these other wider villains. But we would have to see.
And then event. Jackson, did you name yours, or you just? It's just the end of
The
Superman.
untitled Superman
The
movie.
Life and Death of Superman.
The Life and Death of Superman. Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Then the life. I made that shit up on the spot.
Life and Death of Superman, 0 Hour in Arkham City. I'm gonna vote for mine just because it has the most marketable name.
I'm gonna vote for mine because fuck you.
There you go. Good.
I'm
work.
gonna vote for Arkham City.
Well, I'll just go. I'm not putting one in the jar. Not today.
Boys, I think this was really successful. I think we had so many cool ideas. I'm not even gonna lie.
Right.
I was a little curious to see how this was gonna go, but we had some great pitches tonight.
And remember to write in to Jalen and Josh's personal Instagram accounts and tell them which idea you want to see.
Such as,
Whichever one you like the
Kite Man.
most.
okay.
If we get 100 hits on this video, we'll make the Ballad of Kite Man. 100 hits and
We
subscribers. I don't fucking.
unfortunately have no news really this week to dive into. Jalen, what are we talking about next week?
Are we talking about Harley Quinn, right? Harley Quinn season.
No, we have a certain comic adaptation
Oh,
that I wanted you to introduce.
Yes, we are talking about Blackest Night next week.
Okay.
The Green Lantern?
Yeah, the Green
We
Lantern.
are?
Green.
I have that.
Lantern.
You have that.
Oh, great.
Wait, do you actually have that?
It's Luis's.
Oh.
All right. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and send me a personalized Instagram message.
Send
See you
both
soon.
of them a personalized Instagram message.